Okay. So I'm going to ask some questions, and the main topic and the concept is about attachment.
Okay.
And the first one is securely attached children.
Okay.
Okay. So in your own words, explain what it means to have a secure bondage with the baby.
I think a secure bondage with the baby between the parent and the child is being able to leave child and the baby understand that it's secure without it being there.
Okay. So, and then another question is, what do you think is a securely attached child would react if a mother left a baby in an unknown environment?
Again, so I feel like a secure child will be able to handle the situation if left unattended, especially if it's left unattended with someone it doesn't know.
Okay, and then how does that reaction tell you the kind of relationship the mother and baby have?
A very trusting relationship.
Very interesting, okay. And if a stranger tries to interact with the baby, how do you think the baby's actions and emotions are?
I think since the baby trusts the bond between the mother and itself, it understands that the mother's not going to cause it any harm. So it trusts the fact that it's introducing it to someone that's unknown.
And what if the mother does leave the environment, it's still left, and there's a stranger who comes by? How do you think that would?
I think it's the same outcome where if the baby understands that it trusts the mom's choice, that it's able to and willing to handle the situation.
Okay. And then how do those actions and emotions communicate to the stranger?
That it has a secure bond between the mother or father and the infant.
Okay. And then we're talking about avoidantly attached children. So in your own words, explain what it means to have avoidantly attached baby.
Avoidantly attached?
Avoidantly attached baby. That's the term.
An infant that's unable to be without is a caretaker.
Okay. And then how do you think the baby would react if the mom left the room?
It'll probably start crying.
It'll probably start crying. And with the reactions, please explain what kind of relationship the mother and child have.
The mother doesn't trust anything else, and it probably is overly spoiled and overly attached to the kid, the parents, so it can only handle their interaction.
Okay. And do you believe having an avoidant attachment baby is a positive or a negative relationship?
I think it's a negative relationship.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about the attachment of the strange situation technique. And the first one we're going to talk about is the securely attached child. So in your own words, explain what it means to have a secure bondage with the baby.
For me to have a secure bondage experience with a baby or my baby?
A baby or with your baby?
Okay.
Your experience.
My experience would be that when I'm around the baby, the baby would be happy to see me. That tells me that the baby is happy to see me and looks forward to seeing me.
Okay. And then, what do you think a securely attached child would react if a mother left a baby in an unknown environment? And how does that reaction tell you the kind of relationship the mother and baby have?
Okay, repeat that one more time.
Okay, so the question is, what do you think a securely attached child would react if a mother left a baby in an unknown environment? And how does that reaction tell you the kind of relationship the mother and baby have?
Okay, so if that was to happen, if I had my child and I was to leave my child in a room, if the baby acts out on it because I left the room,
With like a securely attached child, that's the baby that's attached to the mother.
okay,
Or father. And how would that baby react once the mother left the room, since that baby's attached to the mother?
there's a very good chance the baby's gonna cry.
Good chance.
There's a good chance the baby's gonna cry. But it just depends. Depends on the baby. Depends on the baby whether the baby likes playing with things that'll distract the baby, or is the baby always looking out for the mother or the father. And depending if the baby's that attached, there's a good chance that the baby's gonna cry. And once you come back into the room, there's a good chance, yes, that if the baby was crying and you pick up the child will stop crying.
Okay, and then so with that reaction of the child, where the baby stops crying once the mother returns and picks up the baby, what kind of relationship does it show that the mother and the child, or father and the child, have?
I would think that would be a strong bond, but at that age, that's what for me personally, I would want for that, because that shows me that we have a strong bond. But if it doesn't happen, I'd be okay with that as well. That means that the baby is okay with me being out, but we can still have that strong bond.
Okay. And then if a stranger tries to interact with the baby, how do you think the baby's actions and emotions are?
It just depends.
If it's an attached child?
If it is an attached child, there's a very good chance that the baby might, if it's picked up by someone else, that there's a very good chance that the baby would turn around and try to look for you. To try to where are my parents?
Where are your parents? Okay. And then and so how does the actions and emotions communicate to the stranger?
It could very well be where if the baby is crying towards the stranger, it could be where the baby is interested in the stranger, playing with the stranger's hair, nose, hands. And in my opinion, that would be normal.
Right.
That would be normal. It can go any ways.
So, for example, if the baby was crying, what would that show to the stranger?
That I would think that the stranger would think that he's looking for his parents because his parents are not there, and that's the reason why the baby's crying.
Right. Okay. And so the next one we're going to talk about is the avoidantly attached child. So in your own words, explain what it means to have an avoidantly attached baby.
An avoidantly attached baby. Okay, so define what's avoidantly attached baby.
So the avoidantly attached baby who rarely cries during separation and avoid their mothers at reunion. That's what is stated inside the book.
So read the question again.
So in your own words, explain what it means to have an avoidantly attached baby.
What it would be?
In your own words or in your own experience or what you've seen.
I would think that'd be a good thing. I think it'd be a great thing. I mean, for that the child could be okay when I'm there or not, and some complete stranger is able to interact with them without the baby crying. That's best case scenario.
Okay. So then, how do you think the baby would react if the mom left the room?
With that type of baby, with
an avoidantly attached child. Yeah.
And how do I think that the baby would act when the mother leaves the room? Or father. I would think more than likely the baby would be okay with it and wouldn't cry.
It wouldn't cry? Okay, and then with the reactions that the baby is showing, explain what kind of relationship the mother and child have.
With that tells me that the baby is very secure, that the baby is okay with its surroundings altogether. Where, of course, I would think that that's not just going to happen automatically. It would be training. It would be where you experiment with the baby. Let's try it, and with time, I think the baby would be okay with that.
It's okay. And then, do you believe having an avoidantly attached baby is a positive or a negative relationship?
I think it's the best of both worlds.
It's the best of both worlds. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop the video. Okay, so we're gonna talk about attachment, and this is the strange situation technique. Okay, so we're first gonna talk about the securely attached child. Okay, so the first question is, in your own words, explain what it means to have a secure bondage with the baby.
What it means to me is that you love your child and you try to show them love.
Okay, and then what do you think a securely attached child would react if a mother left a baby in an unknown environment, and how does that reaction tell you the kind of relationship the mother and baby have?
So if the mother left
the baby in its own, like, just left it alone in an unknown environment, how do you think a securely attached child would react?
I would believe the baby would start to cry.
Start to cry?
If he notices that the mom is not there and there's strangers among them that does not recognize, I think it's just a common thing that the baby would start to cry.
Okay, and then how does the reaction tell you the kind of relationship the mother and baby have?
That they have that the baby knows that the mother is there for him, for the baby.
So it's like a bondage, like that's like the baby's go-to person.
Yes.
For security.
Yes.
Okay. And then if a stranger tries to interact with the baby, with the securely attached baby, how do you think the baby's actions and emotions are? And how do those actions and emotions communicate to the stranger?
If the baby does not know or recognizes a stranger, I believe the baby will start to look at the mom and see how her reaction would be.
Right.
If she starts talking to the stranger and see how the environment is, I think the baby would sense it would be okay.
Right.
But for the most part, if they're really bonded with their mother, I could go both ways. If the mother's there, the baby knows that the mom is there to protect them no matter what.
Okay, and if the mother wasn't there?
Then if the mother wasn't there, then he would probably look for her, like, where is my mother? Where is the one that protects me?
Okay. And then for that one, and how do you see those actions and emotions communicate to the stranger? Like, what behavior does it show, towards the stranger?
The crying frantically.
What does that mean, though? When the baby cries frantically,
Tell the stranger to back off.
To back off?
Yeah.
Okay. And then now we're going to talk about the avoidantly attached child, okay?
Okay.
And then in your own words, explain what it means to have avoidantly attached baby.
I could see, to me, from my experiences, if the baby has that bondage with that mother as well, and sees, erase. Say it again one more time.
In your own words, explain what it means to have an avoidantly attached baby.
An avoidantly attached baby.
Do you want me to read the from the text?
Yes.
Okay, so on the avoidantly attached child, which is in the text, it says, who rarely cry during separation and avoid their mothers at reunion. the mothers of those babies seem to dislike or are indifferent to physical contact. So what I want is in your own words, or if you have an example, if you can say that example or definition in your own words of what an avoidably attached baby is.
Okay. Well, to me, I think it depends. If the baby is being babysat by other people, and he has gotten used to not having the mother around and being babysat by somebody else, if that baby sees, I think he's used to the environment by not having the mom there.
Mm-hmm.
The mom, that he either is aware that the mom is not there, that he is not okay, but he knows that he feels that it's okay that mom is not there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then how do you think the baby would react if mom left the room? And with the reactions, please explain what kind of relationship the mother and child have.
He probably is used to not having the mom there due to circumstances. I don't know if she had to do other things or had to go to work. I think the baby would not cry.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So with that reaction of not crying, how does that show the relationship the mother and baby have?
Maybe not as close as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think mothers would love to be there as much as they can for their baby, but on some circumstances they can't financially.
Right.
So that puts them in daycare, and that daycare takes the responsibility for that time being that mom is out. And that baby sees and feels that environment and knows that that baby's being taken care of. But in reality, there's probably some bonding. The bonding comes after the baby's being picked up.
Right. Okay. And then, do you believe having an avoidantly attached baby is a positive or a negative relationship?
An attached baby?
An avoidantly attached baby.
Oh, an avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it as, in a way, in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Only that you could see that the baby has some how to explain,
Like independency?
yes, that he knows that it shows that there is a little bit of independency in him, in the baby.
Okay.
No, yeah,
So you think it's a positive?
I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we're going to talk about easy children first. And in your own words, explain what an easy child is to you.
An easy child is a child that can be left alone without the need of the mother being in there, and be able to trust what the mother's doing for it or to it.
Okay, and then give an example.
Again, being left alone for a while, or knowing that if it's hungry and it reaches out for the mom will be there.
Okay, and then do you think that the baby loves to be social?
I think the baby likes to be social, yes.
Okay, and can you explain what kind of behavior the baby gives off?
For a positive baby or the
behavior of a easy child.
The behavior of easy child will be it understands that it's safe with the people the mother or the father puts it around in, and then understands that if it cries, the mom will be there, and it's for sure that she will come around if he's hungry or not.
Okay, and then do they do you know, how do you know if a baby is easygoing without interacting with it? Like, you first see the baby, how do you know straight off that it's an easy child?
it's able to handle being by itself. So say you see the mom cooking, or you see the dad outside having a conversation with someone else, and the baby's left in a corner, that the baby's not going to cry, and it's going to be able to enjoy the time without having a fit when not being around the parent.
Okay. And so the next one, we're going to talk about the difficult children.
Okay.
And in your own words, explain what a difficult baby is to you and give an example.
If it doesn't get its way, if it's not around its caretaker, start crying. Just generally just start crying if it doesn't get its way.
Okay. And then do you think they like to be socially active?
I think they only like being socially active with people that they trust.
Okay. And then can you explain what kind of behavior the baby gives off? Like does it start stomping, or does it start throwing toys, or
just pretty much everything? It will start crying, throwing, yelling uncontrollably.
Okay. And then how do you know if a baby is difficult without interacting with it?
Just by going around, sometimes you see kids in the grocery store just crying, throwing stuff off the shelves, and you can tell that the mom's having a difficult time with it. You can tell that baby's not okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Chess and Thomas's goodness of fit. And the first one is going to be the easy child. So in your own words, explain what an easy child is to you and give an example.
For me, an easy child would be someone that allows me to sleep at night. That when I'm ready to go to bed, the baby's ready to go to bed, and the baby doesn't cry much, and the baby in the perfect world would go off of my schedule, or at least wake up once or twice during the night. Okay.
And then do you think the baby likes to be social?
That type of baby, because of what I just explained, no.
No.
No, let me rephrase that. Not that the baby's not social. The baby can very well be social. A baby that is a happy baby, if you want to say, there's a good probability that the baby would be social. There's a good probability, but at the same time, it could still be a good baby and the baby's not social.
Right. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. And then can you explain what kind of behavior the baby gives off?
A good baby?
Uh-huh.
A good baby would be a baby that I was always smiling, that always giggles, is always happy, looks for people, or looks for attention, always wants to be around.
Right. And like, have you seen how a baby uses its body to grab attention? Like, what do they do?
Yeah, they point at things. They point at things that they want. They start saying or start making noise in a certain direction, trying to get what they want.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the baby wants what they want, whether it's milk, whether it's that they want to go to sleep, whether it's they want to play with their toys, if you want to say.
Okay. And then, how do you know if a baby is easygoing if you just saw the baby from a distance? Let's say if you're in a restaurant and you saw a mother and a baby and you just see how they interact with one another and with its environment, how do you know right off the bat that that's an easy baby?
I wouldn't know, but I would assume. I would assume that if I see a baby that's in its crib or in its booster or car chair when you're at a restaurant, and the baby is awake and is just looking at things and maybe is sucking on his pacifier, is just drinking his milk, it's quiet, then the baby looks happy, doesn't cry a lot. But just because the baby cries doesn't mean that it's a bad baby. It could be that the baby's dirty.
It's giving its mother its signs. It's trying to communicate with the mom. Okay. So now we're going to do the difficult baby. Okay. In your own word, explain what a difficult baby is to you and give an example.
A difficult baby, it would be where the baby, I would think, is always constantly crying, and that could be not emotionally. That could be because the baby can be in pain, because it's got indigestion, or it's got air in its system, or maybe you didn't burp it enough. The baby's, but a difficult baby would be it's always crying, I would think. But that can also be because there's something wrong with the baby, physically wrong with the baby. Maybe the baby got hurt and you just don't realize it. Maybe that's why the baby's crying. But if the baby wasn't hurt, for the sake of the conversation, the baby would always be crying. The baby would not look happy. The baby would. I think that's the only thing I could think of, because I don't know of a baby that's not happy. So I haven't seen a baby that's not happy.
Okay. And then, do you think that baby would like to be like social?
I see no reason why it would not. It could very well, and it might not. Although, who knows if the adults, if a complete stranger would want to interact with the baby, if the baby is not very active or doesn't seem very happy. It could be a baby that has a mean face, doesn't look like a happy baby, maybe.
Right, because they're probably always crying or something.
Yep.
Okay. And then, can you give an example what kind of behaviors the baby gives off?
If it's a bad baby, or a baby that's not happy, if you want to say. Just constantly crying, whining. That's it. Can't think of anything else.
Okay, and then how do you know if a baby is difficult? For like the same as the easy child in the same scenario, how would you see it if it's a difficult baby?
If I had to assume, if I was at the store and I saw something like that, I would think a baby, a bad baby is, I don't know, always crying.
It would probably get on the mother's nerves.
Yeah, but that wouldn't necessarily be a bad baby. That could be a baby that just needs attention because it's dirty, it's hungry. That doesn't make it a bad baby.
Right.
That just the baby needs nourishment or proper attention. So that would not be a bad baby. I wouldn't be able to tell you what a bad baby is, because I don't know what a bad baby is.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the chess and Thomas goodness of fit. So the first one we're going to talk about is the easy child. Okay, so in your own words, explain what an easy child is to you and give an example.
Easy child?
Mm-hmm.
An easy child to me, would be that the baby, you know when the baby is a happy baby and a sad baby. That to me would be that easy child. Everything a happy baby goes for laughing, sharing, learning. That's basically about it.
Do you think this easy child like cries a lot?
Like, the baby could cry, or the child could cry for many things, especially if it's not communicative, not talkative, does not know how to talk. Then you have to look for why are they crying. It could be that they're hurting, trying to communicate with you in one way or another. There's different cries.
Just different cries. Okay. And then do you think they love to be social, like an easy child or easy baby? Like, do they like to be socially active?
Well, I think it depends on how the upbringing is. If the parents just stay home and they hardly don't attend or go anywhere and they're always home, and then once they do go somewhere, and it could be overwhelming for the baby.
Right.
If the baby's not used to that. But if the parents are surrounded and always being around people, I think that baby will become sociable.
Okay. And then can you explain what kind of behavior this easy baby gives off?
Wanting to go with others,
Mm-hmm.
that he knows, recognizes,
Mm-hmm.
playing, sharing.
Okay. And then how do you know if a baby is easygoing, like like an easy baby? Like if it was a scenario of you see a mother and a baby at a restaurant, how do you know that's an easy baby? What are the signs?
Well, you could see and observe the baby, how the baby is enjoying the baby, if he's enjoying his food, being fed, laughing, playing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that I would see that he's a good baby.
A good baby. Okay. And then so now we're gonna talk about the difficult child or difficult baby. In your own words, explain what a difficult baby is to you and give an example.
A difficult baby.
Mm-hmm.
A difficult baby. I I think when they have something, I don't know if it would be a difficult baby. It would be as for an example for me, if the baby had something wrong with with his stomach, and always after feeding, he would be crying, and the baby's just always cranky.
Cranky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just something is probably wrong with baby, whether he's hurt, something's hurting inside, and he doesn't know how to express himself. So that's, it's just always something that you hear more crying than not, or
Mm-hmm.
more whining, or more. That's what I would think a difficult baby would be.
Okay. Do you think that a baby would like to be socially active?
Well, if he's hurting inside, and no, if he's hurting inside, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Something within himself, I would probably think not.
Think that. Okay. And then can you explain what kind of behavior that baby gives off?
Um, Basically crying.
Just crying.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you know if a baby is difficult? Just as the same scenario that I gave. A mother and a baby at a restaurant.
Well, obviously, if the baby's in a high chair, or in a baby carriage, the baby's just crying, and you could just see that the mother's frustrated. I guess that would be a good indicator that the baby is not a happy baby.
Right.
Or he's uncomfortable. Maybe he has a dirty diaper. He needs to be fed. The baby didn't eat properly. Something's hurting him. It's just giving up all these signals that he's an unhappy baby.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Is the characteristics of the developing relationship.
Okay.
So, in the textbook of human development across a lifespan, the definition of synchrony is the ability of parents to adjust their behavior to that of an infant. Do you believe the relationship between the parents and the baby should be in synchrony?
Yes.
Can you give an example of a parent and a child being in synchrony?
If the mother knows that around a certain time the baby's gonna get hungry, and if it starts crying, the baby understands, okay, well, my baby's hungry.
Okay. And then the next one is in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of symmetry is infants' capability for attention. Style of responding influences interaction. Can you give an example?
So say it wants to the interaction with the mom, and it will reach out for the mom, and the mom understands. Okay, well, it wants to play, or it wants to hold me, or it just wants to be carried. So it'll reach out like its hands, like it wants to grab.
Okay, and do you believe how a parent and a baby interacts affects the baby temperament?
Yes.
Okay. And in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of entertainment is a term used to describe the rhythm that is established between a parent and an infant's behavior. Can you give some examples to that?
The entertainment. Like the entertainment between the mother and.
Yeah. So I'll be reading from the textbook, and it says a third characteristic is entertainment, which identifies a rhythm that is established between a parent and an infant's behavior. For example, when an infant reaches towards the mother says something like, "Oh, yes, Timmy." The sequence involved in entertainment leads to playing games, such as a mother making a face at the baby and the infant trying to respond similarly. So can you give me another example?
So sometimes you'll see the mother sitting down while she's having breakfast with someone else, and you see the baby in the shoulder, and the mom turns to the baby and gives it like a weird wink or a little baby talk, and the baby responds by it giving it back to the mother with a little baby talk or a little grab or something.
Okay. And then in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of autonomy is the infant's realization that they have a share in controlling their interactions with others. So give me some examples how an infant behaviors shows autonomy. Like, what is exactly a physical action do they do?
So again, sometimes it understands that if it goes like this with its mother, that it understands that by doing this, the mom's gonna come pick me up, or by me giving it, if the baby like winks or smiles at the mom, it knows that the mom's gonna respond to it by either wanting to play with it or tickle with it or smile back. And the baby understands, so the infant understands that his reactions will have another reaction.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome, Becca.
So now we're going to do the characteristics of the developing relationships, okay?
Okay.
So in the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of synchrony is the ability of parents to adjust their behavior to that of an infant. Do you believe the relationship between the parents and the baby should be in synchrony?
It should be.
It should be. Okay, and then can you give an example of a parent and a child being in synchrony?
If the parents need to adjust their time of sleep or their feeding, then I believe the parents will do that for the baby's best interest.
Okay. And then in the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of symmetry is infants' capacity for attention, style of responding, influence, interaction. Can you give an example of that one?
Of a baby's interaction? Say that one more time. So read it one more time.
So in the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of symmetry is infants' capacity for attention, and then the style of responding influences interaction.
Okay, that's very true. So if my interaction, or if I am delayed in my response to the infant, it's going to stress the baby out. So I would try to do my best to appease the baby with what either attention or need it has.
Okay. And then do you believe how a parent and a baby interaction affects the baby's temperament?
Yes, it would.
It would?
Yes,
okay.
it would.
And then the third one is in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of entertainment is the term used to describe the rhythm that is established between a parent and an infant's behavior. Can you give just an example?
So if at this point, if the baby's already on crawling, if I start chasing the baby will just get happy. You can see the baby's energy by it crawling faster because I'm chasing it. But that's one example there.
Okay. And then the last one, in the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of autonomy is the infant's realization that they have a share in controlling their interactions with others. Give me some examples how an infant behavior shows autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely. By you feeding the baby and the baby giving you its cookie that you're feeding for you to bite or to try to give you the cookie back.
Right.
That, and then you're playing boo with the baby, and the baby laughs and looks the opposite direction to look for you, and you're looking the other direction. You're playing with the baby.
I'm playing with it, and that shows the connection that the baby is having with the mother. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So, the third one is going to be the characteristics of developing relationships. Okay. So the first question, which first I'm going to define the word, and then I'm going to ask for an example or an example and a question. Okay. So, in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of synchrony is the ability of parents to adjust their behavior to that of an infant. Do you believe the relationship between the parents and the baby should be synchronized?
Are you starting? Oh, yeah. But yes, that's the opportunity where you start to find out how you're going to take care of that baby.
Okay.
How you're going to be the one. Everything right now for that baby is him. It's all about him. You need to know what to look for in a baby. Like,
can you give an example of it?
It would be so we're talking when the baby's first born. Oh yeah. Of how when to feed the baby.
When to feed the baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
When it's learning how to show the baby how to be fed. Hours, what time, and just starting that process.
Starting the process. Okay. And so this is going to be the second one. In the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of symmetry is infant's capacity for attention. Style of responding influences interaction. Can you give me an example? Can you repeat it again? So I'm going to define what symmetry is. So symmetry is infant's capacity for attention. Style of responding influences interaction.
That would be when the sharing.
The sharing. Okay.
Sharing. I see when you start to share with the baby, you're learning that sharing process. You know when you're sharing and you start learning and the baby hands it over to you.
Right. Okay. And then do you believe how a parent and a baby interacts affects the baby's temperament?
No, some babies could be that they want it right then and there, and because they just want it, you know. They just want their toy. If they don't get it right away, they could start to cry, and that has nothing to do with what the mom or the dad has there at that moment.
Okay. So then this is going to be the third one, okay? So in the textbooks of human development across the lifespan, the definition of entertainment is a term used to describe the rhythm that is established between a parent and an infant's behavior. Can you give an example?
Play. Baby at that point wants to play and learn.
Okay. And so this is going to be the fourth one, okay?
Okay.
So in the textbook of human development across the lifespan, the definition of autonomy is the infant's realization that they have a share in controlling their interactions with others. Can you give me some examples on how an infant behavior shows autonomy?
Once the baby knows how to get the parents' attention,
Mm-hmm.
they'll do it over and over again.
And what are those like how what are those actions that the baby's doing?
For instance, when they give you the ball, it all comes down to play, learning, showing them, reading. When they're interested in something, when the baby's interested in something, they'll go and get it and interact with their parents or whoever, her mom or dad, and they want to keep going, and they'll show interest in that, in that toy, in that book, or whatever they have in their hand, to interact with her, with the mom or dad.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.